and welcome back to another episode of Devil's Advocate Trades Edition with your host, Lisa McGrath. So today I have a super fun guest with me, and I'm going to introduce her a little bit different than I've introduced other people because Lisa's always talking about how wonderful and amazing people are, and everyone's like, Jesus, Lisa, everyone you have on is so fucking amazing. And I'm like, yes. And I'm going to tell you why, because this is a person that I can get into this with. She is amazing because she is not scared, like every other guest I've had on this show, to get uncomfortable. And in getting uncomfortable means that there is going to be change, and it's going to be change for the better for you, for the people around you. And those are amazing things. So Maria Martiniello is with me today. She is an author. So the book is called Find Yourself, Dating a Narcissist. God, girl, your book sales are going to go up because we all date a fucking narcissist.
Unfortunately.
Yes, and she is also in her daytime role is the director of operations for a wonderful eatery. And then she also, her and a few other amazing people decided that they were going to have a Chamber of Commerce for Bears Paw in Calgary,
Right.
and she sits on the board of directors. So just like accomplishment after accomplishment after accomplishment. Can you slow down? I got to try and keep up. Right? You're like, stop it. I know it's a lot.
Well, I only hang around people that accomplish a lot as well. So hence I got to know you very quickly.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's true.
And you know, it's one of those conversations I have to have with a lot of women when they're like, well, Lisa, how did you do this? And I said, it's getting uncomfortable.
Yes,
It's knowing that it's going to be uncomfortable. Change is not easy. Like you have to have that blind faith in yourself to just jump.
Yes. And I have to tell you, I often talk about this because have you ever tried snowboarding?
Yes, I have.
Yes. And you have to hit hard on that hill for 3 days before you can stand up. And I always think about it. If you're not falling, you're not trying hard enough.
Right.
And so it's okay to fail. It just means that you're learning something along the way. You're creating a path for yourself. And it doesn't always tickle. But at the end of the day, you're right. I have a no regret policy. And it just means making the most of my day. It means making the most out of my year, doing everything I could possibly do without hurting myself, of course, like in snowboarding. But I did get it eventually. But yes, I would rather have died trying than have never tried at all.
I love that.
And that's where the regret comes from, I think.
I agree. Like, you know, we're all programmed in a certain way to have some sort of regret or shame or whatever. And, you know, and one thing like Victoria said to me yesterday, because I told you I was on podcast with her, and she said to me, I love how you are unapologetically yourself.
You are.
And I was like, yeah, well, take it or leave it. Like, I'm not an acquired taste. I'm just a flavor. Some people like sarsaparilla. Some people don't. Some people say it tastes like root beer. Some people don't see it. You know?
Yes. And I did a few years ago, this sounds really funny, but I realized that the earth actually doesn't revolve around me.
Oh,
so, you know, when you're lying in bed and you're like, did I say something wrong? Was I offensive? Or, you know, all those things, nobody is up at night worrying about Maria Martiniello. Do you know what I mean? It's all up here. So we have to let that go. And again, if you're not your authentic, genuine self, then who are you?
And I love that you said that because, you know, like, it's funny because people will say, well, Lisa, you're a business owner, you're a podcaster. Do you have any secrets? I'm like, I don't have any secrets. Nothing you can hurt me with.
Right.
And I'm like, because any hurt you're going to throw at me, anything you think you have on me is just going to make me laugh because my choices and my decisions I make with an open and conscious heart. So to me, if somebody is doing something that they're not supposed to, and I'm somewhere in that mix of it and I'm unaware of it, or I am aware of it, I'm going to be like, I don't owe anybody but myself and my children allegiance. So
yes, correct.
Everything else is like, piss off, you know?
Yes.
Like single mom and, you know, working my butt off to get to where I need to be. So,
yes.
And you get that, you know what I mean? Like you get when you have partners or when you have, because I'm dealing with girlfriends of mine, they're talking about dating right now. And I'm like, why would you want to date? Dating sounds horrible. It sounds horrible. When you're in your 40s, it sounds horrible. Anytime like 30, I don't know, I think it's like 35 and up, it sounds horrible to do.
Yes.
So, you know, I'm just sitting there and they're going through like, I'm like, first of all of these apps are a hookup culture.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone
Correct.
who
Check.
tells you that they find true love on an app is bullshit. Just give them a couple years. They'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Check.
Because on an application, you can be whoever you want. And this is what I've been trying to talk to my daughter about. She's 14 now. And I said to her,
Mm.
people are whoever they want to be online. When they are in front of you, it's
Yes.
a little harder to lie. You got to,
Yeah.
because then there's tells, right? And you got to look for those because, you know, my kids are always like, Mom, how do you know I'm lying to you? And I'm like, because I'm your mother.
Yes.
But it's the tells. It's the
Yes.
tells, their pitch in their voice, the way they look, like if they look away, if they look down, if they scratch their nose. It's the tells. You've watched it go down 1,000 times, so
Yes.
you know what their tells
Yes.
are, right?
Yes. And I think you have nothing to hide when you're being your authentic self. And you can be unapologetic about all of that. I remember the first day I met you, and you had amazing merch. And you had the greatest things on your merch. And I'll never forget it because some of them were hilarious. There you go. And I'll never forget it. On my platform was always to be motivated, mindful, and memorable. And I will tell you that when I first met you, you checked off all those boxes because you were honest, you were made me laugh, you asked for what you wanted, and you could work a room like I've never seen before. And that's a beautiful thing. And then you're hilarious to boot. And you're not afraid to meet new people. So this is what I love in people. And that's why I think initially I was so attracted to your personality was because you had all that. And on top of that, you're smart. And then you have a lot of drive. And we need that in today's, because, even if we're not looking at the dating culture, if we're not looking at the hookup culture and all those things, a lot of times in this world, people are looking for something.
Mhm.
And when you get with people that are looking for nothing other than authenticity, friendship, and maybe doing business with people you like, and that's why I love networking too and meeting people like yourself, is
Mhm.
that, when you see that, then automatically your guard goes down and you can totally be yourself. You're
Yeah.
not going to try to sell me. You're going to tell me how you can help me, but
Mhm.
you're not going to try to overdo it in any arena. And I wish the dating pool or life or apps were like that as well.
Yeah. Well, and then it's like people are like, oh, this person's dating this person and they're not divorced or they're going through an ugly transition or they're dating a narcissist. And the list just fucking goes on. And I'm like, and I said,
Yes.
I finally I cut my girlfriend off and I said, let me tell you something. Everybody in a relationship today is either dating a narcissist
Yes.
or they are dating someone with massive narcissistic tendencies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Either
Mm-hmm.
both of them are, or one of them is more pronounced. Period.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
said, and when you're dealing with that, there's a good chance that this person is going to be someone who is running around while still married because the narcissist won't give the divorce,
Right.
dating. And that's going to be the chokehold, is that they don't want that, they want the divorce. That's where they're going to
Yes.
chokehold them. So what I've explained to people is I've said, marriage is a piece of paper. All you have to do is change all of your documents on your side, your insurances, your this, your that, your wills,
Yes.
everything. Change everything on your side, disassociate, let your lawyer know that you are no longer married to this person, but they won't release you from this contract, and be done with it.
Mm-hmm.
Out of sight, out of mind. If they don't want to release you from the contract, and then just wait. And then one day when they're making a whole bunch of money, just kind of creep up and be like, hey, I'll take my spousal support. Male or female,
No, it's
like it doesn't
true.
matter. If the person, like, make them pay for the damage they've caused.
Well, I say this and I talk about it in the book as well. When you're dealing with any sort of trauma, it
Yeah.
does cause a lot of trauma in the brain. That I don't think I'm pronouncing, but the amygdala, that fight or flight, when it's always on high alert and it's been like that for many years, then your brain is just trained to do that. And you have to do a lot of work, in order to not see always a red flag and have a little bit of faith in people. And I think that's where the healing came from, going to therapy and having, written a book and sharing my very, in a lot of cases, embarrassing situations that I hid from a lot of people
Yeah.
because they were so crazy, right? And then, people looked at me on the outside and saying, oh, you're a go-getter. She's smart. Like she's always doing something. But hiding in my house,
Yeah.
because of all the abuse that we take that you're
Yeah.
embarrassed to share with anybody. So that's a tough piece of, and then having to go through, in my instance, there was no marriage, there was just lots of years. But yeah, and then having to go through like the changing of the names and like it's just ongoing. And you're right, like you're going to hit one of the two people, but also like, and it's unfortunate because we all have it. But I've said very recently on my dating adventures is that I don't need to have three in my bed. And what I mean by that is, me, my partner, and then all their baggage that they haven't dealt with.
Yeah.
Right. And that's very difficult too. And I have to say that I have to empathize with that as well. I can't be like, hey, everyone has to look after their own self and do the work and maybe some therapy, talk to some friends. But it is hard because especially at our age and my age, because I've got 10 plus years on you, it's hard to have someone that, has worked on themselves and doesn't have that damage, and that they haven't dealt with or the baggage.
You don't have 10 years on me. You can't. I mean, I know I look a little younger, but you look fucking great too. So
Thank you.
I mean,
But I do 10 plus plus.
stop. I
But
love
you know
going.
what? Oh,
Go ahead.
no, I was just saying I love getting older. I really do. Every year I feel like I've, and not necessarily accomplished more. I've learned more. I've laughed more. I earned all of these laugh marks around my eyes, and I always say, "Oh, I'm smarter too." When I say I'm smarter, it just means I've experienced more,
Mhm.
and I'm a little more worldly. I love to travel, so that's an education in itself. And so, yeah, so I've always embraced, it's always a birthday month around me. So, I love to celebrate getting older.
I agree. I find it interesting when I've got girlfriends of mine, like when I was turning 30, um, 13 years ago, I had girlfriends that were like hiding in the closet and that were upset. And then when I turned 40, like I'm out partying. I'm like, I fucking look good for 40. 40 is fucking great. Here we go. You know what I
Yes,
mean? And I don't have any regrets like you. I don't believe in regrets because having regrets means that you haven't learned anything and you have, there's no like, it means that the mistakes that happened you didn't learn from. For me,
yes,
regrets are when it's something that you did and you can't wrap your head around the fact that you made that choice and take the accountability and say I made the choice and it ultimately led me to this and see that
yeah,
rainbow on the other side. You're so stuck on the
yes,
I should have, coulda, woulda. And I'm like, don't do
yes,
that. Like,
yes.
yeah, we coulda, shoulda,
You
woulda
make,
with our partners. I mean, I had 2 kids. I wasn't married and he's a narcissist. And people will be like, oh, Lisa, blah, blah, blah. And I'll be like, he is. Sorry. He is. Like, he would, you know what? I'm going to tell you something. He's dating a lovely woman right now. She's covered in fucking tattoos. Do you know what? I've got tattoos. You know, I have
yes,
tattoos. Do you know the
yes,
shit
I
he used
do.
to say to me? He would be like, he'd be like, you're fucking disgusting. Who fucking drags ink through their skin with needles? Like you're an idiot. Fucking just the stupidest shit would come out of his fucking mouth about tattoos. And now he's with a lovely lady and she's got like a sleeve and like her whole thighs done. And I'm like, oh, I wonder what he thinks about her fucking tattoos. You know?
Well, and isn't that just the epitome and the definition of a narcissist? Always
Yes.
manipulating, always like trying to have the upper hand, always trying to put you down for something,
Dog whistling.
like yes. And I will say, yeah, I will say, I mean,
Fuck off.
we've been through that, and but probably the same for you. At the time, we didn't use the term gaslighting. We didn't know what a narcissist was. I didn't.
Yeah.
And I just thought, like, I'm not good enough. I'm not this. I'm not that. He must be superior to me because he's all knowing. And I just didn't know it. I mean, now, we overuse the term, I think,
Mhm.
but we all have a little bit of narcissism in us.
Mhm.
But now, with knowledge and a little bit of power in the sense of knowledge is power,
Yeah.
then we can identify it rather quickly and not go down that path.
I agree. And I didn't say gaslighting. I said dog whistling.
Yes, no, that.
Hmm.
That's
And you're
good.
right. I think gaslighting, you get these buzz terms and then people are like, and
Yes.
they overuse them because, and I mean, like, I find myself, like, I didn't know what gaslighting was either in the very beginning. Like, it took some time to do research and figure it out because I was like, what
Yes.
the fuck wrong is with, like, what is wrong with this guy? Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I was like, what is
Yes.
happening kind of thing. And then I figured out that what was happening. Cause I mean, like I was friends with his ex-wife. She had 2 kids with him. So I got along with her because I'm not a horrible, wretched fucking person and think that his, all the things that he's done in the past is, like, I didn't take his word as gospel. Like, I'd be like, what happened? He was like, she picked up and left me on my 40th birthday and took both kids. I'm like, well, what the fuck did you do for her to do that?
Right. Good question.
And he's like, nothing. And I'm like,
Yes.
I'm going to go with, you just need to be more honest with yourself on what you did. I'm like, so here's the thing. I saw the red flags when I was with him before I had kids. So then I was in my headspace where I was like, this is just going to be like a dating thing. He is very nice. He is very charming, but this is not a forever after thing. This is going to be, he's older. I'm just going to run away when, like, we've hit our limit, because we were very intertwined in our industries. And he was kind of like he's a male. He's a pouty baby. He was like, oh, you got to date me. Otherwise I'm going to make your life fucking hell. And I was like, oh, fuck. And I was in my 20s, right? I was in my mid to late 20s. And so I did that. And then I went to be like, I didn't think I could have kids. I had so many problems, endometriosis, blah, blah, blah. I didn't think I could have kids. So I came off birth control because I was like, I'm a smoker. I'm coming close to 30. If there's even a chance that I can have kids, I'm like, I don't want to be smoking. So I quit smoking. I came off birth control just to give my body a break, not thinking that I could get pregnant. I had been through all kinds of shit and surgeries and all kinds of stuff. And all of a sudden I'm pregnant with my daughter, Jocelyn.
What a blessing, honestly.
It was because for me, it was like, people were like, oh, do you regret getting pregnant? No, I wanted a baby. I wanted to be a mom so bad. And it was like, well, the universe was like, well, here's your obstacle. Have a beautiful daughter with this pinhead. And I was like, oh, good. Oh, good. Yes. The moment when you think you should have just had a one night stand and got pregnant and you don't have to go after it.
I think there's a couple songs like that. Right? You said something very interesting though. And as you know, my book is a little bit of a self-help book, because after every chapter, you take some time to reflect and ask yourself questions like, did I see the red flags? Why did I excuse it? Why, when my friends were warning me, I didn't. Being with a narcissist, I will say, like, there were some really happy times. We had sometimes a lot of good times.
Yes.
And I can say, undeniably, I was ridiculously in love, and I loved him so much, but it's just that manipulation, and it's all those things that wear you down year after year after year. So, I think sometimes when people are like, oh, you're with a narcissist, it was all bad. I learned a lot too. There's a lot of joy. I got to be a stepmom, all those beautiful things, but that it will tear you down eventually.
Yes.
And then it takes a long time to heal from that. And now, I've said this time and time again about other things too, but one of the things that I really struggled with afterwards is how human beings can be very cruel to each other.
Yeah.
And, it's okay to say, I'm done. The only rule I have in my relationships, if you find something better or you want to move on, just clean house.
Yeah.
And walk away. That's okay, but be honest about it. It's when you don't clean your house, you start fooling around, you start doing things that are not, conducive to being respectful to one another.
Yeah.
That is, that's where my brain doesn't pull together.
Yeah.
And I know it seems very naive, but I can't really understand why people would be so cruel to each other.
I agree. And, it's both sides. It's both sides. And
Totally.
and it's this, and I tell people this, I'm like, why do you guys hold each other prisoner?
Yeah.
Why do you do that?
Yes.
Why do you sit in a prison with someone you don't want to be with? And then you know what the common phrase is? And I know you're going to know what it is. Kids.
Oh.
Kids. Yeah. And I'm like, I walked away. I went through the depths of hell. When I walked away from him, I handed him, he would say, he ran his own business. I was driving a company vehicle that was more for private use, but I was still working for his company. I was the COO of his company. And I was driving a vehicle. I had both kids in there. Now keep in mind, my daughter is 7. My son is 4. 4 or 5. Okay.
Yeah.
They're little. And I would call him and be like, because we were still living under the same roof. And then he got toxic. And then he said to me, I remember, I'll never forget it. He's like, I'll prove, I talked to my lawyer, and his lawyer is a fucking dirty snake anyway. He's now since retired. I was like fucking birds of a feather, bro. So, but he's like, my lawyer said that I can charge you for theft of my company. And I'm like, under what under what aspect? He's like, oh, well, you took money. I'm like, I took out a promissory note that was paid back. And I'm like, and your accountants can prove it. But nice try. And I
Yes.
did it for your family functions. So nice try again. And I'm like, keep going. And he's like, well, that's the thing. They don't expect you to be smart. Right?
Yes.
He's like, well, I'll
Yes.
have you pulled over by the police and have them impound the vehicle. I said, I'm like, it's a civil matter. They won't fucking touch me. And I'm the COO of a company who has the card that notes that I'm a COO. The registration is to the company and they have two. And I'm like, I have both your children in the back. I'm like, stop being a fucking asshole.
Yes. Just
You know,
cool.
like stop being a
Yes.
fucking asshole. And I'm just, and he's
Yes.
just like, oh, wow. And I'm like, in my brain, and I'm like, I know men go through this shit too.
They
But
do.
I'm just sitting
100%.
here. Yeah. And I'm just sitting here and I'm like, you are the one that cheated on me. You are the one that went out and had multiple affairs and lie about it. He'll still lie about it to this day. Deny.
Yes.
And fine, whatever. But if that was the case, I was walking away without anything. I wanting anything from you. I just wanted to be done. I had my children. I was willing to keep my job, keep the truck, have you help pay for some of the kids because it was it's a multi-million-dollar company. It wasn't something I can go out and work. I don't need you to pay my mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, and then we can work on what we can do for the kids, you know, because the kids don't like our bullshit is our bullshit, not the kids' bullshit.
Right. Yeah.
But it's not. It was like, I'm not done with you yet. So I'm just going to make your life hell for the next fucking 6 years until my 11-year-old son had to turn to his father and say, enough.
Sometimes, right? In the eyes of babes or whatever that, you know, and how impactful is that?
Right? So my daughter stopped going completely to him, didn't want to go to him at all. And they both went to therapists. And some of the things that came out, I didn't even know about. I was like, what? She's like, yeah. And then she would tell me these stories. And this was one of the things I fought about with their father because he works a lot downtown in the East Village. And I was like, don't bring them down there. Right. And he was like, oh, they need to know what goes. No, they don't. No, they don't. They sure don't.
Yes.
And I'm like, so I would fight with lawyers and him, and it was just money. What I found really interesting is that he used to have this narrative where he's like, oh, you know, fucking in divorces, the lawyers win. Why are you letting them win? Why are you spending $200,000 on a lawyer when I would have went away for less than that?
Right. And to your children's educational funds or whatever that looks like,
right?
You know? Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
And I still went away for less than that.
Wow.
Like I went away for a fraction of that. So like, and you paid a lawyer $200,000 plus to what? To fight with you, to rile you up and let you fight with someone who wasn't even fighting you.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it's just not productive, you know?
It's not, but this is where the abuse continues. And I don't know if you can speak to this one with all of the research and all the things that you've done, and some, especially being an author on this subject matter. But I found that after everything was done, and I did a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I still do. It never stops. I'm constantly doing work on it. But what I'm finding is that women are coming into my life that are narcissists.
Oh.
And they act like they're good friends. They mirror me. And then they try and get something out of me. And then when they get something out of me, whether that's money or whatever, then all of a sudden they try to see a boundary they can push when I'm like, don't do that. And then I go, I'm not doing this. Boundaries now set. We need this sorted. And all of a sudden now it's like, fuck you. I didn't ask you to do anything. I didn't ask you to do this. You didn't do that, blah, blah, blah. And it's not one or two. It's like 3 and 4. Since I've left him, that have come into my life and promised me that they're my best friend and blah, 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 and there's a lot of things that we mirror. But then when I sit back and look at it, I'm like, they fucking mirrored me.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, and I think that when you are kind of kind and generous and maybe like in our cases, we could be gregarious and delightful. We attract a lot of that.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that for both of us, because you see it right away, those relationships are shorter than they would have been in the past if you're not aware or if you hadn't had that experience.
You're right.
And that is really important. Someone interviewed me the other day, just about a roundtable topic that they want to talk about is women in different generations and how we react to certain things. And I felt very honored to be asked to it. But one of the questions, what was very thought provoking, is, do you have long-standing relationships? And have you ever had to end a relationship and have you regretted it? And I've had long-standing relationships, but I've also divorced some when there wasn't serving. And when you're not, again, I'm a big, advocate and proponent of mutual respect,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, and when that goes away and it becomes very lopsided, one-sided, and, you can have that conversation, if it stays that way,
Yeah.
it's only going to make room for something more beautiful in your life.
Yeah.
When you open that space. But if you're always surrounding yourself with toxicity and those types of people that you're just describing yourself as wanting something, needing something, then just put an end to it. Because like I
So,
said, then it's just leaving room in your brain, your energy, your power, and your universe for something good to enter.
agreed. And thank you for saying that. And I will
Yeah.
tell you what I learned. What I learned was I'm very action oriented. I've known this about myself forever. So when someone says, Lisa, we need fill in blank, Lisa's in her truck. She's gone. We're coming. We're
Yeah.
going to fix this. Let's fix. I'm a fixer. I'm a doer and a
Yeah.
fixer. So
Yes.
now, because what was happening and where I was getting caught was people were saying, oh, no, 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 no. It was the manipulation. They bitch and bitch and bitch and bitch about a problem, but oh, no, 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 no. I don't need your help.
Right.
Knowing that I'm going to be like, spring into action and go help them and figure out their problem, right?
Right.
So
Yes.
now what I do when someone tells me bitches about their problem, I'm like, oh, I hope you get that figured out. Done.
Good.
No longer my problem.
Good. And
That's a
yes, and you
hard
don't
one.
have to,
Yeah.
it is. Because I think as women, we're also, I find anyway, we like a good project
We do.
in our men or relationships,
No more
and we
men.
love to fix things, And also, I will say, men love to be fixers also when,
Mm-hmm.
I only need someone to talk to
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. And when they jump into action right away and they're like, oh, how can I help? What can I do? And I was like, I just want you to listen.
Mm-hmm.
I'll come up with my own solutions for sure.
Yeah.
But it's nice when people are just quiet and they just have you have an open ear. I would say that is a beautiful sign of maturity, friendship, and a little bit of, you've done some self-reflection in yourself. We just have to be kind to each other. We don't have to fix them.
Yeah. It's holding space. Absolutely.
Yes, it is. And it's a good feeling when you receive it. And having said that, I think strong women like yourself, like myself, I always wanted to give, I wanted to fix. I'm like, I got you, same as you. But the day that I was open to receive advice, love, all those other things, my life changed.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'll do it, I'll do it. And then I had to ask myself, well, what does Maria need? And I needed love and I want respect and all those things, but I wasn't receiving it. I just kept, giving it, sharing it, doing all those things. But now I can also sit back and I love it when people want to, especially a hug. This is the weirdest thing, but I love to be hugged. And I would never get off the phone, and we're not going to get off this podcast without me telling me that I love you, because I never want to walk away from a space where you don't know how I feel about you.
Oh, you know what? My significant other is the same way. He says the same thing. He's like, no matter what's going on, I'll always say I love you, because I don't want to walk away from, I don't ever want to walk away from you and something happen and
Yeah.
you question how I
Yes.
felt about you. And I was just
Yes.
like, oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you. I love you too. I'm like, that's so
Well,
considerate.
it's a really big thing. As you know, you and I were talking briefly. We're writing Victoria's,
Yes.
and a bunch of authors are writing an anthology. And I wrote about passive aggressive behavior, transgenerational trauma, and how it gets passed on to your siblings, and you have to break the cycle at some point.
I hate passive
And
aggressive.
oh, yes, I know. Listen, I was brought up a European family, and really the story I wrote is a love story and an ode to my parents.
Mm-hmm.
But man, we dealt with a lot of that. But when my dad was he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer,
Yeah.
and we'll share the story and do something afterwards with that. But they had stopped talking to me and all those other great things. And I remember, going to the hospital. There's no way I was going to let him go and have this weird rift that I didn't cause. But anyway, you know what I mean, between the two of us. And I remember looking at him saying, did he have a good life? It's not for me to judge, by the way. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I remember saying, did he have a good life, and what would make a good life? And for me, the good life is saying what's on your mind, like the love you, like your partner says, and if I could help in any way, that's great. Making the most of my day so that I can sleep at night, and just being in gratitude. Because every morning I wake up and I'm like, I'm safe, warm, and dry.
Mm-hmm.
I feel at ease of how, my relationship left out when my dad passed away. My mom passed away too. Like, I don't actually grieve a lot of death because I did everything in the years that I had with the people that I love that are no longer here.
Yeah.
And it's to your point. Yes, if something happened to you, anything can happen.
Yeah.
But yes, at least, it's nice that your partner knows in his heart that he told you, and you have it in your heart that he loved you. And I love that.
Yeah. It's true,
really
though.
Beautiful.
It's true. I mean, like, even though I always like to we always bug each other because I'm a fire sign, he's a water sign. So we always bug each other because I'm like, oh, you're so in your emotions. And he's like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. And then he'll be like, well, you're so impulsive. And these are our biggest, like, where we're polar opposite, where
yes,
Lisa needs to buy a new truck. 3 days, Lisa has a new truck.
Of course you do.
That's just how it works. I walk onto the dealership. This is what I want. Do you have this? Yes, we do. We have it in gunmetal gray like you want. Fantastic. Let's go. Do the paperwork the next day, walk out the following day with a brand new truck.
Yay,
My partner, no, it's like a year. Like, he's researching brands and like what the stats are and what the safety is on it and how fast it goes and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, just pick a fucking truck, bro. And he's like, you got to think about these things. Like, do I want to go import or do I want to go domestic? And then if I go domestic, I'm like, stop. My brain hurts. Please stop.
Yes.
Like, it's a truck,
yes.
bro. It's a truck.
Mm-hmm.
And some people will be like, but it's not a truck. And I'm like, wow. To me, when you start to compare, it's with like work trucks and like for trades and people that are doing the hard labor jobs and need trucks that are going to haul, then you need to look at the domestic side. I think that's what they're built for. Now Tundras, which is Nissan, is also built for that as well. I don't know about the Toyotas. I've heard good things, like the Toyota Tacoma, blah, blah, blah. I've heard all the good things, but to me, I like Dodge.
Yeah, nice.
I'll get bugged about it, I'm sure. My ex is all about Chevy, and I remember my son said, "Oh, Mom, I want a Dodge like you." And he told his father, and his father was like, "Well, I'm not buying it because it's a piece of shit Dodge." And I was like, "Mommy, we'll buy you a lifted Dodge."
Well, when in Alberta, get a lifted Dodge.
You gotta fit in where you get in, right?
That's right.
I know
a little bit like that too, but I will say, like, whether it's a truck or whether it's finishing a project or doing all those things, because we tend to also procrastinate a little bit. I think when you're a thinker, the intellect, because you're just like, okay, but that's where I think the gratitude and meditation and all those healthy, good things for your brain, like, you could just put it out there and saying, okay, like, how's it going to feel when I sit in my brand new truck? How's that going to feel? And if you want it sooner than later, then get it. Because again, our lives are so short.
Right. And that's kind of my point, Maria, is what you're saying, because I agree with you. I think that when you sit in, gratitude and love and self-love, I think that what happens is a lot of people don't take the time to really fucking check in with themselves and be like, where am I hurt? I do trauma therapy with my acupuncturist. I do acupuncture. I do vitamins. I mean, I think I told you that I went through breast cancer like in 2022. So I decided to change a bunch of things. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I went off the beaten path a little bit, and I got to lose like 40 pounds. And now I have a cold. So like, I'm like the fat girl on the 1-900 number with the sexy voice, right?
I'll call you.
Right, right. What are you wearing?
Mhm.
But, but still, I mean, I'm not unhappy with myself. I don't look in the mirror and go, "Oh my God, I'm so big." I make jokes. I'm like, "Oh, I need to lose some weight because if I lose some weight based on because I know I can. I'm that weight type. I'm that person that yo-yos. My daughter kind of sits at a consistent weight where she's a little bit heavier, but she's healthy. She eats really well. She walks all the time.
Mm,
She's beautiful. And so then she's like, "Well, Mom, you're so skinny." I'm like, "Mom has a yo-yo thing, which means that if Mom eats bagels for a week, Mom's fat. That's just what happens." And I'm like, "If Mom just eats salads, then Mom looks great." So
yeah. Yeah,
I'm
well,
like,
but I think it is important though to be very like content with yourself.
mhm.
Yes, if I look in the mirror, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. Do I still put on a bathing suit when I was in Mexico on New Year's? Yes. Did
Yeah.
I enjoy my time and worry about it? I absolutely
Yeah.
did not. And I
No, me
think that there's so much more to someone's being
yeah,
than their appearance, hair, weight, whatever that is.
I
And
agree.
you really have to be happy from the inside out. And that's why I do start my day with I'm safe, warm, and dry.
Yeah.
Literally, I wake up and I'm comfortable. I have a little kitty that's like cute and delightful and brings me so much joy. I have good friends. I could lay in bed and do gratitude all day. It starts off with I have limbs and I can walk and
Yep.
I'm self-sufficient and it doesn't matter what that looks like.
Yep.
Then it can get to I like my job, I enjoy my opportunities. And then when you're in that, it will frame your entire day. What does it matter what you look like?
Exactly. I agree. Like
Yes.
like my daughter, she always bugs me, right? I love my daughter to death. I've got an amazing 14-year-old daughter. She gives me a hard time, but in a good way. The way that I give her a hard time, she gives me, we razz each other, which is healthy. To me, it's healthy.
Yes, it is.
That's our dynamic where we banter. And so my daughter said to me, I remember we were walking out, I was going to get groceries, and she says, "Mom, you're not wearing any makeup." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's Sunday." She's like, "Well, you're still in your jammies." I'm like, "Again, it's Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday is a day of rest. Sunday is a
Yes.
day where I don't give a shit about anybody. You're asking me to get something for you. My child wants something. It's minus 27, which means
Yeah.
we're not walking to the store to get it yourself, which means mommy's going in PJs and no makeup." And she's just like, "Oh, well, you always," and I'm like, "I do put on a little bit of makeup every day because you never know who you're going to run into."
Yes.
Right.
True.
So it's like, do I want my like hair like all like crazy and be like, "Oh, hey, hey," it's like it's like like the person that you've been trying to get in front of and you look like a hot mess.
Isn't
On a
that Murphy's
Sunday,
Law?
yeah, but on a Sunday, I'd give myself a pass. I'd be like, "What are my
Right.
fucking chances?" But,
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
but any other day of the week, there's always that chance that you'll run into somebody. So I'm like,
Absolutely.
put on a little bit of makeup. Like I put like a little bit of like blush contour on, like so little. It takes me literally like 3 minutes to put my makeup on
Hmm.
in the morning. 3 minutes. And then I
Yeah.
do, and Megan Hood, so
Yes.
I use her skin products.
Okay,
So,
good.
yeah, I use her skin products, and then I've got like, what do you call it? It's not highlighter, concealer. I put concealer under
Yes.
the eyes and just around the nose, and that's it. Done.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then a little bit
Well,
of like
Megan
blush contour. That's it.
Yes, Megan's quite knowledgeable on skincare and all those great things. And she looks even fabulous herself. Like
I know.
that lady is gorgeous
She is gorgeous. I know. Did you?
from
Oh,
the
you did. You
inside
saw her
out.
podcast with me. She's
I
amazing.
did, yes. Yeah. Good
Oh my.
attitude, beautiful person. And again, it all starts, and then there's the credibility. Then there's her passion. Then there's her, innovation and all the things that she does.
Oh,
It's all
and
there.
her story of what she went through and how she came to the skin. I love it. She's
Yes.
amazing.
And
That's what I'm saying.
I
All these
do
people are super
I do
inspiring.
respect that though. Listen, when it doesn't matter male, female, how old you are, how young
Yeah.
you are, I still say to everybody that I have two careers in me. I
Okay.
love working. I really enjoy working. I enjoy
Me too.
being with people. I enjoy helping. I enjoy learning, all those things. And, but at the same time, in my dad's era, he stayed at the same company for 35 years and probably
Mhm.
wasn't happy for, maybe he was, I don't know. But now we have different opportunities. I still want to give it my all, but things change as the years and decades change also. And then to get the most out of it in your career and all those other good things, I think it's very brave, like Megan, to go from one thing to the other.
Yeah.
And like you said earlier, if you're not in a good relationship, move on. It
Yeah.
seems too simplistic, but literally our lives are too short. And I will say, whether it's your relationships or your career, I say this often, but I would rather be lonely by myself, making my own choices, than lonely in a relationship with someone else, because
100%.
you feel way more lonely when
Right.
you're in this situation and not giving yourself any room or choice.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, I'd rather be in a space where, hey, and I'm not lonely by myself. Weirdly enough, I like my own company.
Me too.
Yeah, I do.
Took me like 40 years, but I got there.
Yeah.
It's
Sometimes I
true.
go home and I'm like, yay.
It's true. It's true. And and it's funny because so myself and my significant other, we don't live together. I don't
Hmm.
want to live with him. And people are like,
Yes.
"Oh, why not?" And I'm like, "I have kids.
Yes. Very different.
This
Yep.
is their home. It's not
Yeah.
his home. It's their home. I don't want my daughter to be concerned when she walks up the stairs because she decided she was going to wear just her panties and her tank top to
Yeah.
come get a cup of coffee, and holy shit, mom's boyfriend's on the couch. Like, that sucks,
Yeah. That's
you
cool.
know? So I
Yes,
don't
that's
want that.
good.
And my son's the same way. My son likes to run around in his ginch, but he's so cute. He only does it in front of me and his sister. If there's anybody else around, he's like
Oh.
pants, shirt. He's like very proper.
Mm-hmm.
He's very like
They
he is.
sound fun.
Yeah. So for me, and I agree with you. And relationships across the board, whether they're work relationships, whether they're boss employee, employee, well, boyfriend, girlfriend, marriage, doesn't matter what the relationship is. Relationships across the board need to change at some point. If you're not happy, change it.
Yes.
Period. I
Yes.
agree with you. Get
And you always
uncomfortable.
have those.
Change
Change
it.
it. Yeah.
Girl.
Or like literally accept it,
Yeah.
but then don't bitch about it. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Change
100%.
it or just leave it. Go.
Hey.
Like just walk away.
Yeah. No,
I know it doesn't sound right, but
No,
you
but
know.
it's this is where the era of enabling comes in. I'm gonna bitch. I'm gonna listen. Oh, I understand. Oh, I understand. Oh, I understand. No, I don't fucking understand why you continue to bitch about the same goddamn thing and do fucking nothing. It's like beating your head against a brick wall. Either
Mhm.
you want the change or you want to bitch. Please inform me which one it is so I know whether to turn my listening ears on or not. Right?
This is what I love about your podcast. Time I listen or watch it, I am like, oh, that girl. Yep, as real as they come. It makes me laugh every time too. Yes, it's true.
It is, and
It's
I
true.
remember I had a couple people that they said to me, they were like, I was watching your podcast and I almost spit out my coffee, or I laughed out, like I literally laughed out loud because I was
Yes.
like, yes.
But don't we want real talk?
Yeah.
I want real talk all day long. Listen,
Me too.
I do not want to hear just because they want, and being an owner of a company, being the director of an organization, sometimes your title intimidates some people and they're just telling you what you want to hear. That is not the culture that I breed in whatever environment at all. I will be just as real with you as you be with me. The other day I went downstairs and they're like, "Are you okay?" And I said, "No. I'm not okay. I'm under a lot of pressure, blah, blah, blah. I just have a deadline that I have to meet and it's making me crazy." And then they feel that they can talk to me about anything because I'm not like, "Oh, everything's great today. Oh, look at this." I just don't do that. It's okay not to be okay. And
Yes.
it's okay to share that. I mean, if every day I was mopey down, "Oh, I hate this," that's not,
I
that's
think,
not productive.
yeah, I think people fall into that fix because they get scared. If Maria, who's the pillar, is
Yes.
not okay, we have to fix her so that we can all be okay because we're not okay, right? And
Right.
she's the one who lifts us up, and that's fucking tiring.
It
Like
is.
when you're the pillar all the time, it's like, I'm not okay. I just need you to leave me alone. I don't want to hear about your fucking problems today. Like, I don't have room in my, like, there's not enough bandwidth going on today. So we're just very politely saying, I'm not okay. So, I hope you can figure out what you need to figure out while I figure out what I need to figure out. And then we'll get back to it. It's like, and then they're like, oh, that's not okay. We need to fix you so you can listen to all my problems. It's very fucking self-serving. And I hate it. And and that's what happens. And it's true. It's very self-serving. Oh, well, what's wrong? Okay, well, let's get through your thing really quick so we can get back onto my thing. And I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah. No, I hear you. And a lot of people do that. A lot of people do that shit. And then it's like, when I went through cancer, I saw that with husbands and wives. Okay. So the people that were actually that were the patient were tame. We were all calm. We were all sitting around getting our like intravenous vitamins. Cause I wasn't doing chemo. I'll tell you that right now.
Right.
And we were doing vitamins, and the partners were like the basket cases. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to do this. You need to do that. I need you better because I can't be without you. Not what do you need to help you get better? Maybe I need 20 minutes without you up my ass. Maybe.
Yes. Well, and the thing is that just say we were married for 20 years at that time and going through this journey, it doesn't matter. Even if someone's holding your hand that whole time, you're going on this journey by yourself. Your loved one, your mother, your significant other can't go through this same journey, and they want to help, and they're in pain, but at the same time, it's like, but it's my journey, and even though they just can't go through it with you. And that's something I think to remember. So yes, a little less you and more you and a little less me in these spaces,
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something I tell people. I'm like, there is a time to be selfless and there's a time to be selfish.
Yeah.
And being selfish for self-preservation, for yourself, to make sure you're okay, to do your check-ins, to do your meditations, that's being selfish, and that's acceptable. I took 1.5 years off of everything. I just said, fuck it, and took 1 year off and tried to settle out my claims with my ex, my narcissistic ex, who was like, oh, I just want to fight you to fight. I'm like, oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But
but your kids need a mom is what they need.
That's right.
And
but I wasn't, mom. And here, how fucking sick is this, Maria? I made my children promise they wouldn't tell their father because he's a coyote. I told them, I said, you cannot tell your father that I'm diagnosed with stage 1 breast cancer. You can't say a fucking thing. My children had to keep that to themselves. They could talk to my mother. They could talk to my partner. They could talk to my friends. They could talk to my neighbors. They could talk to certain friends of theirs because I did not want it getting out. I don't need the pity party of people bringing like 500 fucking casseroles to my door. No, thank you. I'm still cooked. I'm good. I'm not broken. It's a tit. It's, I'm good.
Yes.
I got 2, But I was like, but I felt horrible. How old was my son? My son would have been 9. He's 9 years old when it happened because he's going to be 12 here. So he's 9.
That must be so scary. Like
terrifying.
The diagnosis in itself, but like having children and being diagnosed, I can't even imagine what that looks like.
It is scary, but what made it not as scary was that I have a ton of support. And a lot of my support led me down so many different naturopathic paths that I really started to believe in my life force. I was now educated enough with all of these people around me pointing me in all of these directions, providing me with the information that I could look Western medicine in the face and say, no. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they got mad. I mean, like I went through, we did the surgery, right? So I did a lumpectomy. So I still got my girls. I mean, it's not, they're like lopsided now. It's like, it's almost like they augmented one and then just fucking left the other one. Like it was like, it's, its dumb best friend is fucking on the other side.
We all have that though.
No, but like, I'm serious. Like we always have one boob that's bigger than the other, but it's like they lifted this one and then just left fucking the other one. Like it's like this tit's like, hi George. Like Like I got to raise my fucking hand so that it matches, you know?
Hear you.
So, you know, and so when I I did that, I did the radiation. I went through a massive panic attack. I've never had an anxiety attack before in my
Mm,
life. Went through a
yep.
massive anxiety attack for radiation because it's almost like my body was like, you know, this isn't right. But then had so much support around the healing of it that I never really went through much of the side effects for radiation. I know it was
Hmm.
great. It was amazing. Um, but then they were like, "Oh, we want you to go on tamoxifen," and I was like, "Oh, I don't want to go on tamoxifen." And they got mad. I got discharged from oncology 2 months later.
Wow. Wow. I will say though, I've had a number of friends that have gone the naturopathy, is that
Yeah,
I'm saying that right,
naturopathic.
way, and have had very good, long-lasting
Yes.
results. And where we thought the diagnosis might have been fatal,
Hmm.
no, and haven't had radiation, not chemo, not, you know what I mean? It's
Consistency.
interesting.
Consistency. You
Yes.
have to be consistent. Now I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't stay as consistent as I should have on one thing, and that was my diet. I kind of like decided to like sidebar that I'm a foodie. I love food. So I was
Mm,
like, well, you
hmm.
know what? It has dairy, but you know, I'm not supposed to be eating
But I
dairy.
want
Like,
it.
yeah, right.
Yes.
But I was like, listen, we only live once. So like, what's an ice cream here or there?
Right.
Right. What's a creme
Yes.
brulee? Like, it's not
Yeah.
cream, is it? Like can we make a
No,
coconut?
no.
So, you know, so that was the only thing. I stayed on top of my acupuncture. I stayed on top of my intravenous vitamins. I take all of the vitamins and supplements that have been prescribed to me.
Correct.
I still do detoxes. I do both heavy
Hmm.
metal and parasitic detoxes, as well as electro detox through your feet. So like
Oh,
detoxifying joints and everything. I still do all of those things. The only
amazing.
thing I decided to sidebar on was, you know, I started to eat a little bit more sweet and I incorporated, you know what, like meat's the devil. I'm like such a big meat eater. So then it was
Mm.
like I started to eat meat and then it was like meat and bread and this and that because most of the food, like my palate is Mediterranean.
Uh-huh.
I love the Mediterranean pastas and like I mean,
Hmm.
and everyone's always like, why do they always bring bread? And I'm like, to make it your sauce, your sauce, your
Yes.
sauce.
To make it delicious.
I'm like,
Yes.
that's how you clean your plate. Where
Exactly.
I'm like, you know, you uneducated honky tonks are licking your plate. Italians, the
It's with
sophisticated
bread.
fucking Italians are fucking, you know, using the bread to clean the plate. Like,
Yes, we're dignified in
right? So
that
I just,
way.
well, and then I'm like, and then when they're done, they eat a bunch of cheese, fruit, and they drink some more. It's good. It's good.
Obviously.
Yeah. But you know what? I will tell you, it's funny. Every time I'm on the phone with my friends, they're like, what are you drinking right now? It's like 9 at night. I'm like, I'm having a coffee. They're like, how do you drink coffee? I'm like, well, when you grow up with Italians, you drink espresso. And
Hmm.
I'm like, I can drink 4 espressos at 11 o'clock at night and go to bed, no
It'll
problem.
be fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know
And
I've
they're like,
never had a coffee in my life?
yeah, you've never had a
I've
coffee
never
in your
drank
life?
coffee. I've
Never?
never had a never.
Girl.
I know.
Why?
It's weird.
Not
I
really.
actually don't. I think it is the most beautiful social drink to share. I think having coffee between friends and business partners at meetings is something that is really appealing to me.
Do you
But
like tea?
I've tried it every single way, including with Bailey's. I just can't choke it down.
That's okay. Coffee's bitter.
Yes, but I've tried it out. Like I could sweeten that up. Ugh, yeah. But
Do
I
you know my
like
favorite?
when I see people like in the morning, like, I just had coffee and they're zing. You know, I have enough zing that I don't need a coffee to do it.
Me too. I mean, I don't need a coffee. I like coffee to start my day. That's more of a routine thing. That's more of an OCD
Hmm.
thing for me. It's not a because I need it. It's because I just like the flavor of it and it's how I start my day. Because I can
Yes.
drink coffee at any point during the day. Because I like this morning, I got up and I went and ran my dog, brought her to daycare, cleaned the house before I had a coffee.
Hmm.
So I don't need coffee to I don't need that caffeine kick because it does nothing for me. I
Yes.
drink fucking espresso. But I will tell you
Yeah. At bedtime.
the best that's right. The best espresso I've ever had. So one of my girlfriends, so she's Albanian
Mm-hmm.
And so what she would do is she would make whipped sugar. So she takes, hang on here. So you make the espresso and you take like cane sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know how much. It's a lot. Anyways, and you pour a little bit of like espresso in it and you just sit
Yes.
there and you stir it so fucking fast and it whips it. And then you
Mm.
put that into your espresso and then you stir it and it's delicious. And it gives like it gives like a little foam
A
cap and
froth.
everything. Like
Yes.
it's
Mm.
delicious. It's like
Sounds
my
nice to
favorite way to drink
me.
espresso.
Oh, still not
Right?
drinking it.
Right. No, that's okay. Did you drink tea? What do you drink? Like, what's your favorite drink of choice other than
Chai
wine?
latte and a good Earl creamy gray.
So, like, do you like London Fogs?
I will. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
London
I
Fogs are
will.
delicious. I love I
Yeah.
like chai lattes. That makes it easy because then whenever I come to see you, I can get that's what I drink from Starbucks. I drink a
Oh,
chai
beautiful.
latte.
It's Christmas in a cup.
Yeah, I agree. I drink,
Yes.
but my order, it's so funny. I saw this meme and I'm going to say it to you and you have a good laugh. This meme came out and it said, listen, you need to be nice, girly, because we know you're like one of those 2-ply toilet paper kind of girls with a long drink order. And I'm like, I feel fucking attacked. What is that shit?
That's just my life.
I'm like, why are you calling me out? She's like, so be nice to people because you couldn't go to jail. You wouldn't be able to. And I'm just like, listen, I could thug it up for a couple of days.
Oh, that I believe that in you, girl. I believe you could thug that one right up. You'd
I
be
don't know. I'm a
fine.
bit of a princess. I'm not going to lie, between getting my eyelashes done and my nails, and then people are like, and I love getting like, I don't have to get my nails done. I love my nail tech. She's been my nail tech forever and a day. And like,
Yes,
she's watched my family grow. Like I've been seeing
that's
her since well before my
beautiful.
kids. And I
Yes.
love her. I've seen her kids grow up. Her daughter is now 20. Her eldest daughter, I think, is 23. And I knew her when she was 3. It's been a long time.
Amazing. That's
Right.
amazing.
So,
Yes.
and I got to see all of her kids be born and her family loves me. And I've been there through a lot of their ups and downs. So I love my nail tech. She's more than just a nail tech to me. She's like a family member.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And then, but I was so funny. I'm like, I don't have to get my nails done. I get my nails done because I'm one of those nail biters and I want my hands to look nice when I have to go out and do things,
Yes.
whatever. But lashes, I'm like, I will kill people. Like,
Ugh.
I'm like, I will book. If I had to pay $100 every 5 days, I'd do it. I would
I'm
do
too
it.
much of this. I cannot. I love
See,
the
and I
look of
rub like
them,
that.
but
Yeah.
I'm a rubber and I sleep like I'm horrendous and like, bleh. So yeah, they don't really last on me just because I am not
Rough on
very
your,
good at the upkeep. Yes.
you're rough on your eyes.
Yes.
That's okay. I used to
But
be
I'm
rough on
easy
my
on
eyes.
the eyes.
Of course you're easy on the eyes. You're rough on your eyes. You're easy
Right.
on everybody else's.
We'll
Good
just, yeah,
catch,
we'll leave it
Maria.
at that.
It's a good catch. It was a good catch. I like that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I am too. I'm pretty rough on my face and my hands and everything. And I mean, like I go get my lashes done every 2 weeks, sometimes every 10 to 14 days.
Hmm.
Depends. It's usually every 14 days max. Like I'm kind of, especially when that's like, they've got shed season, your eyelashes have shed seasons.
Yes.
So all of a sudden, like you get them done and like 5 days later, you look like a bald raccoon.
True.
And you're
It's
like,
true.
oh, you're fucking crazy. I'm stupid. So,
Well,
and even my other half will bug me. He'll be like, oh, you're looking a little sparse. And I'm like, those are fighting words. I will throat punch you. Don't talk about my lashes.
oh, that's so funny.
I
I
know. But
love
you know
it.
what? For me, it's because I don't like mascara. I hate
Yes.
mascara.
Yep.
It's
Makes
just
sense.
one less, like people say it's high maintenance, but I'm like, it's actually not, because now I
It's
get
not.
up in the morning. It takes me full makeup, like what you see right now, because this is a full makeup because I'm on camera and camera drowns you out a little bit. But full makeup is like 7 minutes.
Mm. It's pretty good.
Mascara is like 20 minutes alone.
Yes. And it does. I think eyelashes just really make your face pop. It's a
Well,
good thing.
I think so too. I like it too. I think you're beautiful no matter what, anyways, Maria. And I've seen you with lashes on because I remember you got them right before you went on a trip. Did you not?
I had them done when I do like some like networking meetings, photo shoots. Yeah, but that's it. But
Yep.
I don't do the extensions anymore. Just the
Yeah, but
gluions.
those are good enough. I did those forever. Oh my God, during COVID, you should have seen me. I was like, I can't come into work today.
Why?
Because I didn't have lashes.
Oh my goodness.
I'm so vain. I am still quite vain. Like, I know it's superficial and I know what all the things you said and I agree with all the things you said, but me personally, I'm still a little bit I'm vain for myself. Like, I'm like, I can't go there.
But
I
that's
don't know
okay. It's
lash.
just a comfort level.
It is a comfort level for me, but I'm
Yes,
not afraid to tell you that I'm a vain bitch. Like, I just am.
that's
Like,
funny.
I don't care what she looks like. She looks great all the time. Oh, she thinks she's fat. She's not fucking fat. She looks great. Well, you won't even leave the house if you have no lashes on. We're not talking about it. Worry about it.
Yeah,
Worry
that's
about
me
me.
thing. Yes, it's so good.
It's about uplifting
You're
everybody else. I agree.
yes, exactly. Yes,
Well, you're
you're
amazing.
delightful.
I'm
You
gonna
really
we're gonna
are.
wrap us up because I know
Okay,
you are a busy woman and I hope people will come check you out on as an author. So she is, as you guys will have seen, because your podcast will drop right after Victoria's. So because
beautiful.
Lovely Maria will drop right after Victoria's, Victoria has a scent. What's it called? Ascent Stories is Victoria's production group, and she has a book called what's it called again? Grief.
Good grief, a book of
Good
healing.
Grief. It's called Good
Yes.
Grief. Maria's one of the authors in it. She's also the author of Find Yourself, Dating a Narcissist. Go check it out. Thank you very much, Maria. You're amazing.
Thank you. You entirely made my day.
Aw, thanks, Sweet Pea. Okay, everybody,
Okay.
have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend because I'm now moving into my weekend. So don't do anything crazy.